Brother, so
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
motherfucking Monday.
Power Talk Mondays.
Power Talk Mondays. Let's give the people what we're here to do. So Power Talk Mondays, folks, a little intro about what Power Talk Mondays is about. Is just kind of just motivating you. Not kind of, but seriously trying to motivate you. Letting you know that you shouldn't wake up and dread Mondays. You should wake up and be like, oh my God, it's motherfucking Monday. It's time to own the motherfucking week. This here is the beginning. Lo empiezo. Y aquí empezamos a las 8 de la mañana every time. www.radiovalencia.fm. With that, I introduce Clave 53, hermano.
Hey.
Talk to me. How do you prepare your Sundays to prepare for your Monday sad?
Let me tell you. So, I love Sundays. I love Saturdays. I love Mondays. I love every single day as long as I wake up. Period. So, how I prepare for my Monday morning is actually every Friday, right? So every Friday I stay disciplined as much as I commit to the daily, 24-hour, 36 hours straight. Saturday and Sundays are 100%. Saturdays not as much, but Sundays for sure. Like I'm off the radar.
It's hard to get. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's hard to get a hold of you on the weekend. I'm not gonna lie.
And the reason is
I like that. I like that.
Those are the times that I commit to my wife. Those are the time that I commit like with us. And again, Saturdays is a lot more easier for me to be flexible. Like it'll be like in the morning or anything. But at the same time, like of course, this is a time that we set aside for our relationship. But it's so important to not burn out. So a big question is, and I get this all the time, is like, how do you stay consistent? How is it that, you don't lose that drive, you don't lose everything? It's not, I had to learn, unfortunately, right, that mental breakdowns are just a part of things when you burn out.
Yeah, man, you're not kidding.
And that's not a good thing. It's not a good place, right? Like the topic that we've been talking about, which is anxiety, depression, people using pills to kind of cope with something we don't understand, which is pressure.
Alcohol.
Alcohol, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? But what we don't realize is we were instilled with these insecurities and this type of pressure of you have to be this or this, being raised, right? Mm-hmm. Because we were always told that we had to live up to a specific persona, right? And these were either the one or the two most important voices, which were our parents. So if our parents, who are our guardians and the people that we value the most, are telling us that we're not smart, that you're not old enough to understand that, like you start believing that, right? And I don't know if you see my specific generation, the millennial generation, and a lot of people are not as thick-skinned as they should be. You know what I mean? And I'm speaking for my generation alone. It just it becomes very, very noticeable, right? Us as a generation, for especially with the internet, to be hard on the internet, but in real life, it's like where's all that activism? Where's all that passion? Yeah. Where's all that? Yeah. Because as soon as you click your phone off, you're back on Netflix and on Hulu, right? Yeah. So just going and rewinding everything back. Mm-hmm. How do I prepare for Mondays? I wake up extremely excited, because that means that I have 5 days that I have. Number one, I have to outwork anyone in my competition, in my field. It's a commitment that not only that I make to Clave 53 and everybody on the team. It's something that it has to be important, especially taking the role of a leader, right? Because number one is I'm very young, and that could be either a good thing or a bad thing. But at all times, when the performance is there, it becomes really, really hard to argue against that. When the scoreboard is always up, but it also comes with the responsibility of when the scoreboard is down, is how are you going to change that around? And that right there, just even though how simple as it sounds, is the hardest part, especially when you have people that are investing in you. Yeah. But yeah, that's I think that's why, especially now. Yeah.
One thing that worked for me when I was like, came back, from Mexico, I ran into a lot of mentors that didn't recommend too many. Like they'd recommend books here and there, and I read what book was it? I think it was the seven habits of highly effective people, somewhere along those lines, right? And what I started doing was that I got from that book was, before you go to bed, write out what you're gonna do the next day. Plan your day, or if not, do it in the morning. Plan out your day, and then in the evening, once you get home, see what you did, when you did it, and how you felt about doing it. And I did that for a whole year. And I gotta say, that's one of the one of the most motivational habits that you could begin to do. And if you do it for a whole year and you look back at what you did, man, you get blown away.
Yeah.
And even when you get to read about how you felt about that, and I think I'm a strong believer that when you write things that you have to do, like a do list in the morning or in the evening, and then you process it, I think that's a very, very effective way of, people that, have problems waking up in the morning, or people that have, problems making their bed. It could be as simple as the night before, I'm going to wake up at this time, I'm going to do my bed, and it can be like simple stuff you start out with. Then you start with bigger stuff. I noticed a big, big change in my habits and my effectiveness. Now, do you do that as well? Or...
yes, but it's more of a mental check.
More of a mental.
And I go by times. Okay. So it just allows me to stay organized, because I've tried everything from checklists to the to-do list and, reminders, and I have too much ADHD to kind of allow myself to go by a schedule. So I just go by the hours of the day. At, for instance, at 8 o'clock, I already knew what I was going to be doing here, right? And then the next thing that I know, my next check mark is at 11 o'clock. That's when I have my meeting, and it's going to be here in downtown, So my brain just automatically works based off the time. And when I know that it's the end of the day, let's say it's already 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and I know I'm done, my brain already starts relaxing to start preparing for the next day. Yeah,
Kudos to that, brother. Kudos to that. All right, any kind of morning breakfast? Do you breakfast in the morning?
I fast. Today, I always had breakfast. I didn't work out. But pretty much, I like working out at least 5 days a week. Last week got 4. But I like fasting. So I'll wake up around 6, and then I'll be working out by 7:30ish, and from there I'll be done working out by about 9:30. Then so I'll have lunch by 1, 2. On a regular day, and it just helps with the intermittent fasting that we spoke about last time.
Intermittent fasting. And now, do you eat a lot of fat?
No, not anymore. Lately, for at least the last 100 days. Okay. I was a big fan of it. I love my steaks medium rare.
Yeah, right.
I love the nice
avocado, coconut oil,
all that, right?
All that fatty food, but without having any guilt to it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not that I don't deprive myself of it anymore. It's just I've replaced it, right? So I no longer drink beer. And
was that your go-to beer?
It was just one of those why beer is just one of those things, why, if the purpose, well, maybe because I'm not a connoisseur, because there's a lot of connoisseurs that are really, really about the hops and shout out to Big Boy Brewing down there, a small micro brewery down in LA. Shout out to him, David. So beer just, it didn't have enough of a, oh my gosh, I gotta have it in my palate to do it, so so
you cut beer out.
I cut beer out 100%, and now I can have 2 extra slices of pizza when I go out. See what I mean?
So it's pizza over beer.
Oh, dang, man.
You like pizza?
I love food, period, So
since I've been born, I haven't been able to quit it, man. I swear.
Exactly, man. And it's just so that it just gives me the extra, okay, I'll be fine. I can have that extra taco. I can have that. I'll have that midnight burrito when I got the munchies, But I'll make up for it, because the next day I wake up and it's work time.
Is there a specific hour that you stop eating, or you just eat
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock. Stop it. Yeah. And then you have your next meal when?
Until 2:30 the next day.
2:30.
I'll drink water in between.
Yeah.
Maybe the next day, I'll have an apple, but dinner time, past 7. We rarely eat throughout the year.
Yeah.
And it just helps with the digestion. It just helps.
It does, doesn't
cycle.
it? When your body goes, I guess it's catatonic.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know the proper
I
term
think that's
for
a word.
Yeah, and you just wake up so much lighter. And you just
And the energy you get, man. We were talking about that in the last episode, episode 1, pilot episode 1. Folks, these are pilot episodes. This is gonna be the next big thing. I believe it.
We'll always bring in the fire though. So regardless, pilot, offline, online, we're bringing that fire. So
online, IG, YouTube is coming.
Yep.
Thank you to we got a good team here, Orlando. We got Lando behind the
scene.
Right here. He's looking as sharp as he's looking. He should be up here with us, man. He should be running the show, carnal.
Look at this man, right?
Míralo nomás.
By the way, ladies, he is single. That's a good thing. Up and coming director, right over here.
Right. And all my dad is due.
and he has good credit.
Good credit, ladies. Good credit, good looking. You got the film camera and all that good stuff. ¿Qué más quieren, man? ¿Qué más quieren? Brother, pues cuéntame. Go ahead.
No. I was actually I was gonna say, let's talk about the market a little bit.
Please. Let's talk about the market.
It's shifting. It's shifting.
It's shifting towards up or down?
And I don't, down.
Down?
Okay. It's coming. It's coming. The sky's falling. I'm being Chicken Little right now to anybody and everybody that's listening or that can listen, that can share or whatever. The sky's falling. The sky's falling. Here's where I mean. Anytime that I don't know if you saw last week with Trompa's proposal or to legalize federal marijuana or to federally legalize marijuana.
No.
So the president of the United States is currently shutting down the government, right? And his ultimatum is pretty much, if you don't build the wall, then you have no government, blah, 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 wine, right? However, last week, I think it's called HR 420 is the official bill that has been introduced, or proposal, not bill, proposal that has been introduced for federal legalization. Now, if we start breaking it down, why now, over all the times, over all this pushback, when the Republican government had initially came in and everybody that was in office was like, no, marijuana, no, and now we wind the clock 365 days later, and it's why now? So 2007, 2008, we're already in Afghanistan and Iraq, right? So we already had a distraction towards the general public that deviated everyone away from the housing crisis. So here we are today. We are at the peak of everything. Tech companies are still getting funded with millions and millions of dollars. There's the GDP continues to rise, and not only that, but no one is scared, man.
Yeah.
Walk down the street, everybody has the confidence of the world. People are still buying homes, and it's just like the signs are here, man. I don't know if it's just kind of in my.
So what do you think it is that what do you think? Do you think most people aren't paying attention?
People aren't paying attention, and we've got it for over a decade. We've had a good economy since almost 4 full days.
I know Trump seems to take a lot of credit for the economy. Is it just what the stimulus did under the Obama administration that brought it to what it is, and it is what it is now, based off the last administration, and now this administration is kind of riding those coattails, and then everybody thinks, oh, it's Trump, but Trump, I guess, it's whatever he's implied has not really changed anything, and it's just about to crash.
To be as unbiased as possible, I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think Donald Trump came in the upside of the economic cycle to where now that these specific things are happening, he's taking credit for it, right?
Right.
But on the other side, he has, even though the legislation and the approvals that he'd like, non-natural gas production, more oil refineries and all these things, like, of course, socially it's bad, but he has increase revenue. So it's a yes and a no. It's being done incorrectly, but it is being done, right? But at the same time, the other half is Trump came in on the final upside of the economy.
Right.
And who came in last time? I don't know if you remember, the last Republican that was in office also came at the top of the economy, which is President Bush.
President Bush.
So
Mm-hmm.
during President Bush's administration, 2007 happened. That was the last Republican. Now we have Donald Trump in here at the top of it saying we have the biggest army out here flexing, saying everything's okay, nothing's gonna happen, when in reality bank interest rates are going up and housing prices are starting to go down. So why is there why are the banks being conservative? And when I see that is, well, they know something that we don't know. So that's when I start saying, okay, stop. Because I've been in the banking world. I understand how they think. Everything at the end of the day, it's a balance sheet and risk and reward. How can you take 90% of the reward and 10% of the risk? And it's just simply
so simple to our listeners out there, or anyone that's going to watch this video. It's as simple as this: save, don't spend, watch your money, don't go out buy that Gucci, Versace. Just hold on to that. And you know, when interest rates go crazy as hell, right?
And we're not saying don't buy the Gucci, right? Just don't buy it right now.
Exactly, right? Just don't buy it right now. I want that there.
Exactly. You're gonna buy it right now for $500. In 2 years, you're gonna get that shit for $150. Same thing.
There you go.
Because they need to sell.
Don't floss yet, baby. Floss later. Okay. There you go. Awesome. All right. Cool, man. That's yeah. So save, right?
Save.
Watch your credit.
Fix your credit.
Fix your credit.
And watch it both.
And watch it.
For sure.
Okay.
And start planning. And the way I tell people, right, because a lot of people are, hey, I have money, I want to invest, right? And that's a broad statement, right? So if you're looking to invest and you're start asking what is it that you like to do from the beginning, because I'm not even talking about starting a business. I'm just saying if you're gonna start throwing money into something, make sure you understand it. Make sure that you understand that by you investing, right, there's a risk attached to it. So if you're gonna throw in $10,000, you have to consciously understand that they may never come back.
Are we more safer putting our money in a neighborhood tanda than we are in the fucking banking system and stock market?
You know you know what? Like, it's you need the bank. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
in this system, you need the bank.
In this system,
in this monetary system,
in every economy that has a monetary system, you need a bank. Unfortunately and fortunately, the thing is you also have to use the bank to your advantage. So a lot of people look at debt as a bad thing, right? When I was growing up, my parents were like, never get a credit card, never get a loan, because then you have to, and it ruins your credit, right? So that was always a perception of debt growing up. But when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and using the leverage of debt, I immediately understood what my next real estate move was, which is find something cheap, buy it in cash, i.e. in 2 years, when these $400,000 homes are going to be 200 to 210, I'll find a round of investors at that time, buy it in cash, get a bank, put a mortgage on it. They gave me $500,000, take $300,000 out, pay everybody back. I just profited $100,000, and you can't pay taxes on debt. Period. So it's like, again, you know,
folks,
like
listen up, check it out. The economy's it's going to go down. And we're just going to have a seminar for you guys coming up soon.
Very soon.
Here at the Impact Hub on how to do what he just did. Buy your home cash, pay back your investors, profit $100,000. How about that? Power Talk Mondays. If that shit don't get you up
that's
today,
the next move.
If that shit don't get you up today, I don't know what the hell you're doing. This, you know, you seen that IG post? Power Talk Monday, more stimulated than cocaine. That shit just stimulated the fuck out of me.
It's not that it's hard. Winning is not hard. It's the hard part is staying dedicated to winning, because winning takes a lot of things, man. It takes commitment. It takes sacrifice. It takes everything that no one is willing to do and that's just the start. So if people hate waking up early, then that's an expectation, right? Like if let's say someone there's, because I know there's someone like me out there, right? And we're equally paired, we're equally talented, we're equally whatever it may be, right? That our stats are the same. The only thing that's going to differentiate us is how hard we work for what we want. So if this man beats me by waking up by 5 minutes and he gets there early, and that makes the impression of who gets the job or who gets the contract or who gets the deal and not, that's a big difference. And that's me to blame. So when you start with that specific perception, is the ultimate goal is just to never be outworked. So how I'm a big believer in, you have to have that specific ego and that swag, and you have to have that, but it has to be real confidence. Because if you're walking in and you're saying you're the shit, you have to be the shit. Because when you get called out and you're not the shit, and you're trying to get a contract, you're trying to get a sale, you're trying to get whatever it is, that immediate relationship just gets completely eliminated. Your credibility, your verification, everything.
And we've all been there. It
happens. But that's how we learn.
That's how we learn, folks.
100%.
So even in failure, there's lessons to be learned.
All day.
Even in lessons, and you know what? Some of us, I gotta say, no one can get it right in the beginning. But you should always achieve to try to get it right. And if you wake up early, you do your homework, and you get off that Netflix. Love Netflix, by the way.
Fuck some Netflix.
Shout out to Netflix.
Shout out.
There's no way you can lose, baby. Just prepare yourself. Are you watching the new Narcos?
I finished it, man. I was
the one with Felix?
Yeah, I finished it when it came out.
Yeah? So it's over. They're not giving no more episodes or anything?
I think there's like a season 2 that's gonna come out, but
it's not Felix.
It'll be the continuation of
Felix,
whatever. Yeah,
Chapo.
The takeover. Yeah.
Right.
So now they're going into the Mexico chapter, like they did in Colombia with Pablo and Cali and like all these, and now which Miguel Ángel Gallardo, man. That respects Felix.
Oh right.
Yeah. So
respects me.
That guy's a mastermind. I think I touched a little bit of it last time, but man, that guy.
Dude, he's in the feds, bro. Did you know he's still alive?
Yeah.
He's still alive.
He's locked up, man. He's locked up. And I was actually, now on the topic, I was looking at the whole like Chapo situation and his court and like how everything's going.
Did you hear who's ratting on him?
Vicente Zambada, bro.
Who?
Which is Vicente Zambada.
It's his son.
No. It's the son of El Mayo Zambada, which is his partner. So it's crazy. It's crazy, but again, like our number one thing here on Power Talk Mondays is always ask why. Always ask why, and this is too much, right? So knowing that the United States operates the way it operates, as far as being the world police and big stick diplomacy and like all that stuff, right? So El Chapo has now become the most prized trophy that the United States can put in their trophy case.
Yeah.
And say, look.
First it was Bin Laden, last administration, right?
Because they want to keep that consistent message of, if you fuck up, regardless of where you're at, the USA is over anyone's jurisdiction, and we can do whatever the fuck we want because we're America, right?
Yeah.
So, but now it's like, okay, so you're in the mafia, right? And my father is the number one in the mafia, and I'm over here snitching on his best friend. That's number one, and so it almost sounds too good to be true.
Right.
And I don't know if you're paying. I don't know if have you seen a few of the clips or anything like that on the news. So everything that they're going on, ironically, aligns with the storyline of what we see in Narcos, of what we see in the thing, right? So a lot of people are saying, see, it lines up. I told you, they're corrupt. But at the same time, it's like this is an image that Hollywood already painted to you
for you,
and they want to give you the verification. Right. Who's saying that this isn't a government setup and there's already an agreement of what's going to happen after the Chapo gets locked up? Because as far as the viewers see, as far as the American public sees, we think he's going to be in a cage, but is he really? because how much information does he know about the United States government, about every other government, and they're only leaking out specific information.
You know, that brings me back
characters.
to when all the fires were happening here in fucking California and all that. Like, all these firefighter movies started popping out. I'm like, what the fuck? Doesn't it take such years to film a movie? And like, you know, like why all of a sudden, you know, it's just like,
yeah, it's a trip. Anyways, let's not
get into conspiracy.
That's morning conspiracies for today.
That's the morning conspiracy, folks. And I guess the message to that is, you know, stay in your lane, do it right, do it with love, do it for a reason,
and be consistent.
Fire. Love it. Consistency. All right, I got my motherfucking Monday motivation. Consistency.
Yes, sir.
Consistency. So next week we will be more consistent with the show.
Will, for sure.
We will definitely be more consistent.
We'll have the corridos playing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was on me. Yeah. So Jose, what are your plans for 2019, man? Let's talk a little bit about what you got going on. What is it that we can expect with all the podcasts and the events, and you know we're doing here at the Impact Hub in San Francisco. The dates will be coming up here. We're gonna be doing I'm blanking on the word.
Eventos?
At our
Culture
event.
Fest?
No.
Yeah, what did we name it?
Seminar. We have it. Our seminar.
Oh yes, yes.
So we're gonna have startup seminars here in San Francisco in the Impact Hub. Here in the Mission District. So this is an open invitation. We don't have the pre-sale info, the dates, times, or anything like that yet, but this is an open invitation towards cannabis entrepreneurs, clothing line entrepreneurs, any sort of type of entrepreneurs that just want to learn for what it really takes to get from the startup phase to, you know, whatever phases may continue on there. Are you truly ready for entrepreneurship? Is entrepreneurship ready for you? Because
what does even entrepreneurship mean?
What is it for?
Have you been an entrepreneur and not known it? Do you have the heart of an entrepreneur and haven't harnessed it? Can you harness it? Is entrepreneur a thing that can be taught? What's the difference between an entrepreneur and a founder? So yeah, we got many seminars, so I guess Power Talk Mondays and what we want to go with it. Thank you for the question. Like, for me personally, if you had to describe me, I'm just a very creative guy. I love to throw creative fucking, for lack of better explaining, I like to harness an idea and then throw a creative net out there, and if people vibe, then I'll pitch an idea to 100 people. And a lot of people be like, okay, cool, this guy's crazy. Or the other people be like, okay, cool, I could do this part. Okay, cool, call me when you do it. Okay, cool, it sounds like something I'll invest in. Give me more, send me a package. So that's what I do. And what happened with Power Talk Mondays, I had this amazing young man, Raul, through a friend, and one of my other podcasts, and that other podcast is called Culture Fest. And the idea of Culture Fest, the crazy idea behind Culture Fest is that I work with San Francisco Carnival. And, being abroad for like 6 years, I had this dream to come back to San Francisco and be a part of San Francisco Carnival. And after that, came up with the idea of Culture Fest, and it's a podcast. And the whole basis of Culture Fest podcast in 2019 is to hit every festival, to hit people that go to festivals, and just bring awareness to music, culture, and with that, I would love to travel and do podcasts all around the world and hit every carnaval.
Wow.
Panama, Colombia, so I gotta get Colombian dancers, I get Panamanian folks on there, I get people from Nicaragua, and the idea for that is, but more back to the question of what we're going to do here in Impact Hub is, like you said, just get like-minded people, whether you're doing clothing, whether you're doing comedy, whether you're doing music, whether you're in cannabis, and then just bring a broad spectrum of like culture into one space, and let's see how we could all have a great time and make money doing it. 100%. Doing what we love to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And inspiring those that are not doing it, that, and the only way to do it is through failure. 100%. Don't be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid to fail, because it's better to fail at something you think you might love to do than it is to die with regrets. And that's a message for fucking Power Mondays.
All
Get your
day.
ass out there. Wake up. Go and
Power
grind.
Talk Mondays.
Fall. Get back up and keep rocking. How about that?
I like that, man. Yeah, no, and you touch on such a big topic that I'm a huge believer in, which is wake the fuck up, fired up, man.
Fire
like,
up, man.
It's a new day. Like even when I was employed, you know, like I would have to wake up with that fire because I knew that I was not satisfied with with my current reality.
Yeah.
So it's so important to just wake up and understand that you can hold those expectations of yourself to compete at the level that you know that you need to be at to get where you want to be, right? So and the thing is consistency, creativity. You know, just like what you said, it's so important to say fuck it, I'm gonna do it, and who gives a fuck about what anybody says. And from that point moving forward, I called it the day I broke the chains, and to me it was 2013. That's when I truly broke the chains. And I told my parents, that's when I told them, like, yo, like, college, it's a wrap. Like, that shit ain't for me no more, you know? My mom was tripping. Dad was like, yo, like, are you sure, you know? And keep in mind, like, my little sister's 5 years younger than me. So this is an example that I'm setting, right? So, and it never really kicked in until not too long ago, right? And then I was tripping. But the thing is my little sister is actually in her second year of college right now.
Right.
So she's going on into her third one, and so she's gonna finish, is what I'm trying to say, right? But what I understood is, regardless of the decisions that you make, as long as you commit 100% to yourself,
something,
not to prove to anybody else. Who gives a fuck about everybody else? As long as you commit to yourself and saying, this decision is gonna fucking work because I said it's gonna work. I already spoke it to everybody. You know, I'm a big ass believer in saying what the fuck I'm gonna do and doing it. Because there's no better feeling in the world. Because you go from being that cocky loudmouth motherfucker to, oh shit, here's this fool telling again. Like, you know what I mean? So it's crazy, and I'm such a big believer of speak the things into the universe, man. Speak them.
Speak them into existence.
Let them say, like, if you want to be a millionaire, go out and say, I'm gonna be a millionaire, but don't expect it to fall in your lap. If you're gonna say you're gonna be a millionaire, understand what that means. Break that down. How are you gonna get there? So if you're currently employed and you're only making, let's call it $50,000 a year, right? So let's say you're making only $50,000 a year, and you want to be a millionaire, but your job offers you no sort of commission, no upskill opportunity, right? So at that point, a lot of people stop. They say, oh, like, my job's holding me down. If I had something else, if only I had got, like, the excuses start on why they're not where they have to be, right? So I could say that all day. Oh man, if only I had been born in La Jolla instead of Escondido, if I would have gone to Torrey Pines instead of Orange Glen, if I would have been 6 foot instead of 5'3", I would have been in the NFL. Like, these are stories that
you tell yourself.
You would tell yourself.
Yeah, those excuses. Right?
Yeah, but that's not the reality.
It's really
because I'm from a middle school where they still put prison walls.
Ay, Dios mío.
And that's in my town. Like, as of right now, you drive across 5 miles east, right, towards kind of the San Pasqual Valley, which is the upscale, right, not the hood, and you have a park right next to the middle school. You have a mall right next to the high school. So I stopped looking too far as like where these signs are going, and what am I gonna do to change that? Because a lot of people will go online and say, oh, that's not fair, like, that's discrimination. No, there's just not enough people that care enough. There's not enough people that say, well, I know it's not going to come with any sort of accolade. I know it's not going to come with any sort of recognition, but it's going to be a fucking badass if one day I can go back and say, here's $50 million for the development of a soccer park in the middle of the hood. The only restriction is that you have to live in this radius to be able to participate and have free. Anybody else has to pay, because that's how it was for 10 years before, 20 years before. Our own mayor would freaking order border patrols to come in spots where Hispanics are, in front of grocery stores. So I went back home. I went back home for in December. I was in the market. It was me and my wife. We were coming down. There was this guy on a bike, and a cop is over there making fucking moving mountains and saying that the world is gonna end. And this guy's on a bike on his sandals, and he's just he starts, the cop blurs him, starts talking shit. And keep in mind, this cop is extremely overweight, man. Extremely overweight. And this guy starts pedaling on the bike. It was actually kind of funny watching him. And he starts pedaling on a bike, and then you see him go out. The cop starts chasing him, and
wow,
this guy's barefoot, and he starts running across the street. And I swear, in about 5 minutes, there was more than about 10 to 15 cops for one person on sandals.
What, man?
I've never, ever seen anyone, especially in Escondido, mobilize that quickly. And I swear it was like a manhunt.
Wow.
So those are things that are still going on. So for me not to wake up fired up every single day, like,
to change the status quo. If you don't like something, change it. Wake up.
It's bigger than money, man.
It's bigger than money.
All day. It's
I love it.
It's been bigger than money, and I think that's what makes individuals who kind of feel that way, so dangerous.
Yeah.
It's just it goes far beyond what the regular perception and kind of conception of what winning means.
I love it. I love it, man.
Power Talk Mondays. Where's
Talk
Facebook Live
Mondays.
at? Oh, there you go.
Power Talk Mondays. How about that? Here, let's get.
Patrick, what's up, bro?
Fucking amazing.
Long time, doggy.
Take a little picture.
Hope all is
here.
good.
Fucking crew of Power Talk.
Little knucklehead, bro. I know,
Yeah.
man. It's been forever.
So my dream in 2019 is, so I got 3 podcasts currently with this one. This one's a little hickey up, right? With the whole audio. Jesus just texted me, sorry man, I had my ringer out. Shout out to Jesus Valera. He's the one who's gonna help us put all these seminars and everything together. My true dream in 2019 is to become a content producer. I have currently 2 podcasts with this one. I have 3. I'm working on a 4th, and then I'm working on a 5th. So Culture Fest is just a melting pot of ideas, bringing them together. A big, you've seen it, big melting pot of ideas. And it's the definition behind culture. I'll give it to you. I love it. Check it out. So the definition behind culture is the art and the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievements in a regarded collective way. You see what I'm saying? So the whole definition for Culture Fest is the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievements regarded collectively and celebrating it with awesomeness. Culture Fest. Yeah, and then there's the Lust to Love show, which is a kinky show put together with my girlfriend. And that show, it's a Lust to Love, it's a relationship program, right? But more than that, it's just kind of allowing and giving power to women. It's really an empowerment to women, letting women kind of let them know that in reality, the man is the strong part, but the woman, I feel, is the more spiritual part, the more emotional part, and it could be vice versa. It depends on the relationship, but in our relationship, there's that balance, and it's also very kinky. We talk about, sex, we talk about food, we talk about, sex toys, we talk about cannabis and how does it, like the 12, did you know there's over 12 ways a woman could actually have an orgasm?
What?
Yeah, 12 ways. 12 ways a woman, and we've hit 5. And together we've hit 5, so that's what this show's about. It's about the difference between a kiss, the difference you're holding hands, the energy. Yeah, so that's the second show. And the third show the third show is Power Talk Mondays, and it's here with you, empowering people to wake up Monday mornings and know you are not who you were yesterday. You are not who you were the last week before. And if you really, really want to take it on, start Monday and start with this show. That's what Power Talk Mondays is. With the mastermind Raul here, hats off to him and everything he brings to the table. I think I'm blown away, man. I'm blown away.
Oh man, you're making me
I love
blush.
it. Yeah. And then the fourth show is un poquito más pa la gente. It's gonna be with Erica Rock from Estilo TV.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like corridos, rock en español. It's gonna be.
Yeah, me corridos, bro.
Yeah, corridos, banda. Upcoming.
Yeah.
Rodeo shows and like just straight Latino, a little bit towards more Mexican.
Okay.
And we love all the Latinos, but this one's
Of course.
and all Latinos do love Mexican music.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more towards that. And then I'm a single dad.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I co-parent with my the mother of my children, and the last show is a family of two happy homes. And how you stay current, with parenting from two sides of the mom's is here, dad's here. Yeah.
How is that, man? I've had friends, right, that have grown up in separate parents. My sister's boyfriend, who's in the Marine Corps. What's up, Anthony? Is currently serving in the Corps. Thank you for your service, sir. And it's just interesting to me, right? Because I've always seen it from an outside perspective. Because my parents have, they've been together since growing, which I'm very, very
my parents
blessed
too.
for,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I've always been interested, man, because I've seen some that I'm like, wow, like you're extremely mature, and then the other ones are like, ooh, like.
You know what? In our situation, I think we've had a mix of both. Where we've been really good, and then we both kind of been very childish.
Okay.
I think it's always a work in progress. I think communication is key. I think you learn through failure. Sometimes when someone new steps in, whether it's on her side or my side, things get funny, but communication is key. We've had our ups and downs.
Of course.
They've mostly been up.
Okay.
She's very smart, intellectual young lady.
Yeah.
Very passionate. I had 3 businesses with her.
Wow. Okay.
Outside the country. So she's very talented, multi-talented. If we're talking about entrepreneurialism, she is. And I was always more of the wilder side, more of the marketing guy, more of the, but she
getting me the acquisitions, and, being
yeah.
out there and being the image of the company.
So brand ambassador, all that cool,
of course.
I did the fun stuff.
Yeah.
She always did the more of
the operations.
The operations.
Okay.
So when that team isn't on the same page, then it could be a little difficult.
Of course.
But that's what the show's about.
Yeah.
Keeping a happy family of 2 homes. And I'm gonna podcast with my kids, man.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's gonna be like just straight have the kids here, and we're just gonna talk about like give toy reviews and just.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
YouTube and like all that
YouTube,
too.
Go out, go out and go to theme parks and capture all that, and then give a review on the theme park, and then she'll come in here and she'll talk about school and talk about this and talk about child support and how do you break it down? How do you break down the time? What works? What doesn't? If you have doctor's appointments, or if there's like the kids want to go to a play, like. Is it okay to bring your girlfriend that you've been with for a while, and does she bring her boyfriend? And it's like it's little shit that but it's little shit mostly to other people. But I think it's another thing that we're not talking about.
Yeah.
Especially in the Latino community, especially in the African American community, is like how can you still, like you shouldn't be an absent parent. Point period. Right. But if you are, how do you get that back? Even parents that are abroad, like you should be a pen pal. It's not that hard to pick up a device and send a message and and do all this, and we're gonna talk about it. We don't have all the answers. I promise you, I don't even have all the answers for myself. But I'm willing to talk about it and bring it to the table and maybe inspire other parents and inspire you know, parents to do a little bit more things with their kids, and that's the thing. I just want to. I love podcasting, and I want to do a podcast with my little ones, you know, and my eldest one too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, maybe they might go into the arts and the film and
so how old is your eldest?
My eldest is 18, bro.
18. So
yeah.
So how is the world from her perspective like that and the reason I ask is I'm a big researcher, right? I consumer researcher, because that's the type of research that I like doing, because I have to understand markets, trends, what's going in, what's not, right? So what is the popular things, what's the good stuff and the bad stuff that is going on in her world?
Wow. You know, I wish I could be more tapped into that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think those would be great questions to ask on the podcast. She's 18, so, you know, I know she's got a little job. Shout out to her. She got her first little job.
Okay.
She is in a relationship, and I like the kid.
Okay.
You know,
that always helps, right?
Yeah, and so I had her when I was 16. So I was very proactive with that. You know, I think parents need to be very proactive with that. You know, I think sex education for that age is very important. I mean, it's another topic people don't want to talk about. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I was active sexually when I was like fucking 14, bro. You know, 13, 14.
Wow.
You know, and...
Early bird, huh?
Yeah. So I, you know, and not trying to put any judgment on her or anything, but it was just kind of like something that really concerned me, you know, so that's what I focused on. You know, as far as school, she's had all kinds of different jobs. You know, she's worked all kinds of different jobs with us, so we've trained her, you know, work ethic and everything. She's done great, and now she's you know, she's doing her thing, and you know, I'm proud of her. You know, I'm very, very proud of her. I mean, judging from like how me and her mom were, you know, and seeing her just go through her struggles, and you know, I also believe that like social media and all that stuff plays way harder in them than it did for us, like bullying and all that. And I don't think it's taken that serious. And on the other hand, I think they take it too serious. You know, and you were right. You know, you know, this culture does lack thicker skin. You know. Yeah. And I think that's one of them, yeah.
And what now that you touch on that basis, right? Like now from a parent standpoint, what is it that you think creates that? Because I mean, if you're seeing it firsthand of kind of, you know, the sensitivity and kind of what we're seeing, what is it that you think created that? Because it's a common thing, or you know what I mean? And again, like even speaking for my own generation, as far as like millennials go, the anxiety and the depression is just way more consistent than it was in any other generation. So my thing is why? Because I feel it sometimes. And I don't know if it's just kind of like a subconscious thing of, oh, this is what's going on and it's also affecting me too, or if it's really something consistent that the parents, right? So like my parents, my mom was born in 69, my father was born in 70, right? So whatever that generation of parents did, what is it that affected us, right? And because you're not too much older than I am,
not by too much.
So not at all. So like, what do you think it was?
You know what? That's a great question, and I'd have to tie back down to that. You know, all the information that we got came from home.
Yeah.
All your emotional feelings and how you should feel came from home, and we were protected under that. You know, under that thinking. Now, I mean, you look at kids, man. They're talking to people in China. They're talking to people in Korea. They're talking to, you know, they're seeing, and it's current. Where, you know, they're getting all these, like, emotions. Yeah. You know, whether it's TV, whether it's cartoon, whether it's another kid going through some shit. You know, and then it's just dropping on them. And they're like, well, you know, I'm going through something similar. How should I feel? And depending on what they get fed, you know, is the emotion they put into it.
Do you think that they're relying just too much now on the information that's given when they type in Google and like social media?
Oh fuck yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like there's this, you know, I don't want to give out any, you know, like but just like some of the names of friends that, you know, my kids have on social media, like there's words like depression or sad, and it's just like, and that's their that's their like social media, tag or whatever the fuck, and I'm like, hold on, how old are you? Like,
that's some crazy shit, because I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I typed in anxiety right on Instagram, and then clicked on the tags. I saw the most depressing thread, and it was none of like, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be okay, which that's the reality.
Right.
It was more of like images, like I would see people cutting. I was like, yo,
that shit is real, bro. Like that whole cutting generation.
I had to stop looking. I couldn't do it, because number one, like subliminally, like if you're already not subliminally, if you're subconsciously getting these ideas, that's implemented for the rest of whatever your day is or energies that you produce. Yeah. So I'm imagining like younger people that maybe don't have that type of tough mentality and are just consistently upon hours and hours and these emotions, and it's just like, that's crazy. Because it makes so much sense on why this is so common, on why this is so consistent. And have you heard of Immortal Technique?
No.
Immortal Technique is an underground rapper, right, out from the East Coast.
Okay.
And I grew up listening to him since like 6th, 7th grade with songs like Dance Like the Devil, Peruvian Cocaine, and at those times I liked those songs because there's a lot of historical references and I know what the fuck they spoke about, right? Because I love history. I love history. And it wasn't until now that I started recently kind of revisiting my 7th grade music days where he says, I used to wonder why people didn't believe in themselves. Mm-hmm. And then I started looking at the way that they portrayed us to everyone else, and then he says they cursed us to only see the worst in ourselves, blinding the fact that the whole time we just had to look in ourselves. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like it's so crazy of when you look at it now, and I always refer now, I think to it itself as an outside perspective now, because I feel like I no longer belong to the normal world, which is a blessing, and because I now have the blessing of being able to look from the outside perspective, looking in, it's just a trip of the rat race, of the transparency of how many people are willing to fuck the next person over. Keep on moving up. And you see it on the details of rushing through traffic, and and it's just like, do you rush and put that much amount of energy and that amount of stress into bettering yourselves as much as you put in all that amount of energy to show up to work? And when you start looking at it from the outside perspective of like, damn, like I see you rushing, but I don't have to rush anymore because I simply said I don't want to rush anymore. Not I'm too good to rush anymore. I just it's not a way that I was producing happiness for myself. So entrepreneur, and this is another talk on Power Talk Mondays, is I didn't choose entrepreneurship. Like I honestly, I was born with this shit. Like it was 8 years old and I was already working at a Swami with my dad. So my biggest influence in my entire childhood, developing into 18, 19, is every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Wednesday, Thursdays, in between, all every summer and breaks, I was working at a Swami, hustling. And to me, this is
El Tianguis.
El Tianguis, exactly. And you know what's so crazy is so many people refer to El Tianguis, recently I heard Cuchero or some shit like that. And it's like, call it all these things, bruh, but you ain't even equally as talented as I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
no. What is that? Tianguis a slur?
Oh, it's used as a degrading towards the market. Yeah.
Really?
But in Mexico is referred to as a Swami.
Oh,
right? Because in Mexico, in la Ciudad de Mexico, and anywhere you say, oh, what al tianguis, it just means I'm just going to the independent market, right?
Yeah, but here, we call it a farmer's market out here.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, so I worked at a tianguis as well. My kids worked at a tianguis as well.
Yeah.
But it was abroad. It was this very beautiful town.
Yeah.
And it was called the Organic Farmers Market. right? But they sold goods. They, it was a little bit more.
Exactly.
It was a little bit more boutique in the sense it was vegetables.
Yeah.
It was this. It was that. Pero era puro gente de rancho trabajando la tierra y todo. So yeah, we were Tianguis Orgánico. Yeah.
That's up, man.
And it is one of the toughest businesses. So we had this franchise concept. It is a franchise concept, and that was the idea. But the menu was amazing. Like I said, she's an amazing chef. I also love to cook. But the food industry and it's
that's respects, man.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole nother beast,
It's a whole nother
beast, and
we were kicking ass, man.
Yeah,
and then we broke up. Then we broke up. But a lot of love was put into that idea. And, it might be another project we push out for 2019.
There you go, man. There you go. I think I may know a few people.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Brother, so we only have a little bit time here, but I guess what I wanted to say was thank you guys, thank you both for coming out. Let's do this next Monday here, and let's do it right. And guarantee you we'll be going live on www.radiovalencia.fm. And if you like this content, go ahead and share. Go ahead and hit like, send a message either to anyone here on the team, and I'm at culturefest.podcast. Then we have the man behind the lens. Go ahead, drop your info.
OT Cinema 707.
All right, shout out to OT Cinema. And then we have
RCG53.
There you go, folks. Well, you have it, you got it. Go ahead, share it. Love everyone for it, and we'll see you next time. Peace.